بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. سائل يسأل فيقول: ما حكم من تسبب في إسقاط حمل قد تخلق? Question says, what is the ruling of someone who causes themselves or someone else to have a miscarriage? A miscarriage slash abortion. Abortion slash miscarriage. The words abortion and miscarriage are sometimes in English synonymous. A woman who has a miscarriage accidentally is certain times is called in English abortion. Obviously in America or in American English, in most cases they'll say a miscarriage, they won't call it abortion. But if you go overseas and you study or you travel, you go to a hospital in which the doctor speaks English, but it's not American English. English is their second language, or they learned British English. Oftentimes they'll use the word abortion instead of miscarriage. Or the question pertaining to an actual abortion, as we use it here in America. A woman has a child and she doesn't want to keep the baby. She goes and gets an abortion at a clinic, or she takes some type of pill, tonic, black seed oil, something that in most cases will cause her to lose the baby. Or the man, the husband, or the boyfriend, or the baby father, he does something to the woman, he hits her, in which he intentionally tries to what? Have the woman abort the child. What is the ruling on this? But only after he says, ba'da, he says, قَدْ تَخَلَّقَ, the child that has begun to take on a form. It's not just a normal fetus, but it's beginning to actually form into an actual baby. What's the ruling on this? Al-Jawab, the answer says, هذا من الوقت وإذا الموءودة سئلت وهو أن المرأة تسقط جنينها بعدما تخلق فهذا لا يجوز وحرام. He says here, this is considered to be what the pagan Arabs used to do, al-wa'd, when they would bury their children alive. Some of them would intentionally bury their children alive. Allah says in the Quran in Surah Al-Takwir, verse 8, وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ. Allah says, and on the day of judgment, إِذَا الشَّمْسُ كُوِّرَتْ, when the sun will be wrapped up, this happens, that happens. Allah tells about Yawm al-Qiyamah. And from the things that will take place on Yawm al-Qiyamah, the phenomena of that day, وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ, and when the child that was buried alive, the girl baby, she will be asked, بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ, why has she been killed? I.e., this is a serious issue and it's a sin. When the child that was aborted or killed is asked why it was put to death. He says, so for a woman to remove the fetus, to abort the child after it takes a form, then this is haram and it's unlawful. It cannot be done. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, هو الذي يتكفل برزقه. He says, Allah, the Mighty and the Most High, He is the one who guarantees and who assures the sustenance, the food and the drink and the housing, the safekeeping of His servants, not us. We just work. But Allah is the one who assures it. There's no guarantee that you'll get this. There's no guarantee that you won't get it. You don't make the money that you stack up and pile up and amass. Allah is the one that provides, subhanahu wa ta'ala. أما لو ألقت النطفة قبل الأربعين فهذا يجيزه طائفة من أهل العلم. And we see here in this fatwa, he's mentioned only one reason why a woman or a man would abort, or why they would kill the child after the child is actually born. And that's for fear of poverty. Fear of poverty. And that's not always the case. Somebody may abort, they may have an abortion because of fear of shame, or she wasn't married, they weren't married, it's shameful. Okay? Or a person is afraid of bringing children into this world. Let's say a brother or sister was abused, sexually abused and molested at a young age. Happens all the time. Very common even among Muslims. وَلَا حَوْلَ وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. And this person says, I don't want to have a child in this world. I don't want to have my child exposed to what I was put through. Any reason will make the person do this. So therefore, for a person, a sister, a woman, to cause the abortion, قَبْلَ الْأَرْبَعِينَ, he says before 40 days or after 40 days. He says obviously after 40 days, then that's abortion. As far as before 40 days, then there were some of the people of knowledge who said that this is permissible. Some of the ulama of Islam held the view that abortion was permissible before 40 days of pregnancy. Before 40 days of pregnancy. وَيَقُولُونَ يُبَاحُ إِلْقَاءِ النُّطْفَةِ قَبْلَ 40 يَوْمًا بِدَوَاءٍ مُبَاحٍ. And they say that it's permissible for a woman to take some type of medicine, dawa'in mubah, that's lawful, some type of tonic or herb that will cause her to abort before the final day of the first 40-day period. إذا كان قبل 40 يوما وأسقطته بدواء مباح فلا مانع. With two conditions. Number one is that it's before the completion of 40 days. Number two is that it says dawa'in mubah, a lawful drug, lawful means. Then they held the view that it was permissible and there was nothing wrong with that. أما بعد ما تخلق فهذا لا ينبغي. As for, or it says as for after it takes on a shape, meaning after 40 days, the different trimesters and things like this, and it begins to grow and to develop into an actual baby, then they say that's impermissible and that's unlawful to be done. That's the end of this fatwa here, and obviously there are different details with regards to the reasons behind getting abortion, as we just mentioned. One common issue today, I've been asked before, and I've read about this many times, is a Muslim sister who's raped. A Muslim sister who was raped, let's say by a non-Muslim. This is very plausible, especially with the different armies that go to the Muslim lands and they rape sisters there, or even here in America or Canada or the UK or Australia. A sister is raped and she bears a child by a non-Muslim. Is it permissible for her to get an abortion? Or she bears a child by a Muslim man who raped her, her father, waliyadhu billah, her brother, her uncle, or a stranger, her neighbor. Is it permissible for her to get an abortion? There are details. Here, this fatwa says that it's permissible, according to some ulama, not all ulama, as long as it's done before the end of 40 days. And as long as it's done with a drug, it says dawa, a medicine that's permissible, not something that is haram. So therefore, one could apply this ruling to that issue. A woman is raped and sexually assaulted, and she becomes pregnant. And she does not wish to bear the child that came from rape. If it was before the 40 days, based off of that view, it will be permissible. After the 40 days, those ulama, they said it has to be before 40 days. And there are other details with regards to even it being after 40 days that came from that type of what? Situation. But the problem comes in illicit sexual intercourse by a Muslim teenager, a Muslim boy, a Muslim girl. They sleep around at 15, 16, 17 before marriage. They don't have the money, and it's shameful. They're going to be embarrassed. They're going to be afraid. If a person says that you can have an abortion before 40 days or after 40 days, what will happen? And how will the people take it and look down upon it and just keep making zina? Everyone understand this? Also, the concept of if a woman was afraid or scared that her father would kill her, honor killing, and this type of nonsense that many Muslims have, unfortunately, that is not from Islam. That's not from Islam. It's honor killing to kill your son if he makes zina, if he was married before. And if he wasn't married, if he was a virgin, he's supposed to be flogged 100 times. And he's supposed to be kicked out of his hometown for a year. That's honor. And not just for a sister or your daughter that you think or you saw, there's only one witness, or you saw a picture or you heard a rumor. That's not the Sharia. That is cultural nonsense. That's cultural what? Nonsense that has left a very bad reputation on Islam. And there are many people who leave Islam just because of this one thing. Honor killings that are not the deen. Why aren't they the deen? First and foremost is that it's not just for a girl, but it's also for what? Boy, my son, my 17-year-old, 18-year-old son, I know he's a womanizer. I know he's a ladies' man. I know he abuses women. He takes my money that I give him to sleep with women to deflower young girls. But it's okay because it's my son. Say that a boy, right? My son's good. He's learning. No, it's haram and it's ugly as well. And you cannot become angry if your daughter sleeps around, but if your son does, you don't. That's Islamically backwards. Also, the concept of a zina and a person being punished for zina, it has to be something which is proven. And one witness is not proof. A picture, a video is not sufficient what? It's not necessarily sufficient proof. It isn't something that is done hastily. Let alone the fact that an honor killing, don't forget that we live in the UK. We live under the Queen, Parliament. We live in America. There is no Sharia in this land. There's no Sharia enforced in this land. So you go outside and make an honor killing, that is wrong. From the reasons that I just mentioned, last but not least, is that it has caused many, many people to leave Islam. And many people to write books against Islam. And to encourage people to leave Islam. So much so that they have support groups for apostates. You realize this, brothers and sisters? There are forums, there are groups, there are organizations that provide money, shelter, education for people that don't want to be a Muslim anymore. Because a person says, well, my parents, they come from Bangladesh, and if I leave Islam, I'll be thrown out the house. I'll be beat. They'll send me to a mental institution. I won't go to college. I won't have no money. My parents come from West Africa, a Muslim lineage. I can't be a kafir. And then the people that offer these programs to allow it, what? To be easy for them. You don't need your parents anymore. You don't need your family. And there lies no doubt that social, cultural, economic repercussions are one of the strongest reasons why certain people don't leave Islam. There are many people that have doubt about Islam and don't want to be Muslim. And the only thing that keeps them keeping their Muslim name or saying that they're Muslim, assalamu alaikum, is because they know that it will cause a major uproar in their family. So the more support groups, the more foundations made like this, the what? The easier it is for these people to have the courage to leave the deen of Islam. May Allah protect us from that. This fatwa was given by Sheikh Abdullah ibn Muhammad ibn Humayd, and Allah knows best. Wa sallallahu sallam wa barak ala abdihi wa rasulihi nabina wa imamina Muhammad.